first of all, you're competing against brands and companies who are spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on their marketing. You've got like a just out of university person running your socials for a salary of 30 grand. How do you think you're cutting through the noise? So you're not, you're talking to each other.
Yeah.
You're trying to persuade a like slightly wider group or wider audience than you exist in, that what you're doing is of value. We're talking to each other, and it's why when things like USAID happen and the grounds come back, no one actually understands what that means, like what that's going to look like in reality, not just the 10,000 whatever jobs that are being lost, but like they have to like see and feel the knock on that's going to have before they're really paying attention.
But I guess what we're saying is, yes, there's a space for corporate organizations, but funding still needs to exist. And so what do the remaining organizations do, or remaining funding groups do, about what the gap that USAID has left, and what happens to USAID? Like,
yeah, I think, I mean, it will come back. Some form of US's foreign influence by way of charity will come back, if you know what I mean, like, because it's such a big part of their soft power.
Should it come back? There are so many issues with USAID in general.
I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, sorry, let me be clear. Aid is never going to look the same again, right? Our sector is never going to look the same again, and it's a huge moment of opportunity for us to rethink and re-strategize about how aid should happen or should take place. I agree that it's hard. I've been thinking about this a lot lately since the news came out, because for the last 5 years, we've been talking about the inefficiencies of the traditional development architecture.
Exactly.
The fact that not enough money is actually reaching the groups on the ground. Arguably, there was no delicate, diplomatic, I'm sure there's a much more democratic way of doing it, but they've just pulled the plug, right? And they're letting everything crumble, and theoretically are going to then build back up based on their assessment of what the needs is. The problem is their assessment is not, I feel much more comfortable with Kamala making that decision. But we're going to see the huge repercussions and negative impacts of it. But it does present an opportunity to rethink the way in which money flows, to have more of an impact with your programs. But the devastation that is going to be caused in between, because of the way in which they've done it and because of who is leading that. Because what they can do is, like I was just saying about like the rebuild, they can rebuild it full of loyalists, right? What is the influence they want to have in different countries at this moment in time, and therefore who are we moving our money to? And then undoing that is time. And so it's a disaster, obviously.
Right, and which countries are going to be, kissing the ring in order to get in line for, and also being distracted by whatever Trump's, on about on the day. Maybe he, like the other day when he was like, who even knows what Lesotho is? Like, if he's just on some crazy thing, are we going to be chasing? Is everyone in the world going to be chasing where we can get some of the money, funding, attention?
And I think that's an interesting point, is that there's so much noise going on. Like, he's creating so much noise and so much controversy and so much outrage. Are we being distracted from what's actually going on, and how much communications actually plays a role in that? Like, even this whole idea about us breaking out of the echo chamber, which is something that we talk about in our services all the time. We're seeing the emergence of these new platforms because we want to boycott Twitter, or we want to boycott X, whatever it's called. What do we do in terms of combating the misinformation, redirecting people to the crux of the issues? I mean, all of our clients are afraid to talk about it, but where do they even go to get the right information? Where do they even go to be informed enough to make the right decisions?
Right. And now that, with the fall of Twitter, which is obviously tied to Elon Musk, which is tied to everything else, it makes me think, did all of this happen on purpose so that, like, now we're all really fragmented? We're not even there's no public square anymore where we're all talking. And so even when I was, like, looking up, like, where's the protest? When are the protests going to happen? Like, I see them in places, but it's fragmented. The
it's really fragmented. There's not. It feels like there hasn't been the groundswell that there's been before in these moments.